I greet you all in the name of Jesus Christ. Today, my task is simple. It is just to go through the book of the Great Controversy, chapter 2 in summary. So chapter 2 simply speaks about the persecution in the first centuries. Now, this is a book that was written by Ellen G. White, but before I can go into the content of the chapter, I find it that it's wise for me just to give a brief background of the book. Now, the book Great Controversy, like I said, was written by Ellen G. White, and when she wrote this book, it was so dear to her, and the devil knew the impact that the book was going to have. So when she was writing the book, she felt she was attacked by the devil to a point that she nearly died. And later on, she says that the devil wanted to kill her so that this book will not go out. When the book was done, it delayed to go to press just because the devil was still fighting the book. And then later on, she writes and she says, this book, above all of her books, must be scattered like the leaves of autumn. So it's of paramount interest that we look into this book, that we understand this book, so that we may understand what the book is all about, so that it can give us a better view and understanding of the great controversy between good and evil, and so that we can be able to be well prepared for the second coming of Christ. So as we go into the chapter 2 begins with Christ. It's a prophecy. Jesus Christ on Mount Olivet talks about the prophecy that the church was going to go through persecution after he was gone. And so as time went on, persecution began with Nero. Nero persecuted the Christians just after the death of the Apostle Paul. Now, what was the problem, or what was the issue? The issue was that the Christian church was growing in leaps and bounds, and the devil was not happy about this growth. And so he arose people like Nero, and they persecuted the church. And when persecution went on, the issue was that the church was supposed to die. And people were caught and they were thrown into amphitheaters. Others, they clothed them with skins, with skins, and thrown into dogs, and they were torn by dogs. And people would watch and cheer and laugh. And then after that, we realized that the people of God stood firm, and they said, we will not go down with this. We will keep our allegiance to God, the maker of everything. And there were others died, others lost their lives, others ran away, they lived in dens, in caves, but they still stood on the principle of God. When persecution ended, we realized that after persecution ended, there came deception. The devil uses two things, persecution and deception. Usually he begins with deception, but this time around, he used persecution first because the church could not be deceived. So when persecution ended, deception came through, and the church and idolaters came into the church. When they came into the church, they brought idol worship, and the church and idolatry came together. And this weakened the church, but God's people still stood for the truth and showed their allegiance to God. And after that, we realized that even when the church was going through this persecution, even and after the persecution, the church did not die, but the church stood firm, and people of God stood against deception, and they told them that if the church could be under persecution and under deception, they were going to stand for the truth and stand for the truth alone, even if it meant losing their lives. So this teaches us that as we go forward, these things are going to come back again. Persecution is just ahead of us, but we must not be afraid, because even in persecution, God will still be with us, and we will sail through until he comes again. May God richly bless you.